Good morning. If everybody could find a chair, we'll get started. Calling to the floor FS1. Wait a minute, that's later. Wrong meeting. Stay tuned for that. Good morning and welcome to the joint meeting of the Building Official Membership Council and the Sustainability Membership Council. My name is Steve Shapiro. I'm from Hampton, Virginia, and I'm chairman of the Building Officials Membership Council. Let me just tell you quickly how this 2-hour session is going to go. Our membership council is going to meet. We have an agenda that hopefully you've seen on the website. At about midpoint, which would be somewhere around 9 o'clock or so, Josh Botkin is going to be here, and I'll introduce him at that point. He's going to talk to you for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to do a hot switch on the dais, and we're going to leave, and Ayla and the Sustainability Membership Council will come up, and they'll hold their portion of the meeting from about 9 o'clock till 10. So we need to finish at 10 o'clock, and I'll tell you exactly why, because there's a very interesting event coming up at 10:15 in this very room. During the process of this, if there's any questions, we've got the 3 mics set up since the code change hearing is going to be in here shortly. If you have a question, please come up to the mic. Okay, so for the Building Official Membership Council, we've got several agenda items. And we're going to start with the prioritization of action items. Over the past, I guess, year or so, between our conference calls with the governing committee, when we were in Phoenix, we had a meeting, as you know, and then Becky and I had a Cracker Barrel table at that Tuesday luncheon, and we got input. Based on all of that input, we came up with a list of about 23 action items that we wanted to look at, and then we're going to forward to the ICC Board of Directors for their approval. 23 obviously is a huge number, so our governing committee yesterday met, and we spent several hours trying to whittle that down and prioritize what we thought were the most important. What I want to do is run through those with you today. We'll take any comments, and at the end of that discussion, we'd like to get some consensus and forward those on to you. You see them on our PowerPoint. As I said, we came up with 4, and these are in priority order. Let me tell you what they are. And the first one should probably be not uncommon or to anyone who's probably been around for the last 10 years since the consolidation or so. That's raising the profile of code officials. And let me back up for a second. What we're also going to do, after I present these 4, we're going to form subcommittees around each one of these, and I'm going to ask our governing committee to volunteer to be on those, and I'm going to ask everyone out in TV land as well as here in the audience if they'd like to volunteer as well. Excuse me, and I'll tell you how we're going to do that, because each one of these is going to take some time to put the flesh on the bones, as they say, or the meat on the bones. So the first one, and this is our highest priority, as I said, is raising the profile. These are some bullet points of how you might do that. We didn't get into the weeds yesterday and actually work the problem, but these are just some ideas that our governing committee came up with, obviously through public safety announcements, that they'd be aired on local and network cable television stations, working with organizations like the International City and County Managers, National Association of Counties, different organizations that represent our appointed and elected leadership, outreach to the community, our role in disaster response. I think Frank mentioned that button that we had seen years and years ago. I don't know if it came from Florida or California, but it was the button that people wore that said, when we do our job, nothing happens. And I know when Wiley was president and when I was president, we talked a lot about that because that's one of the truest statements. And our role in public safety. So all that's going to have to be fleshed out and developed, but that's our highest priority that we're going to recommend. The second one has to do with preparing for the future, and it's got several aspects. And this is really what we should all be about: succession planning, mentoring. If you look around the room, some of us are getting old in the tooth, myself included, except for Marshall Klein, who's still young. But we don't have a lot of young code officials in the room, and we need to really work that issue. So this has got several facets. The first you see up there is helping our young code officials to be more prepared to step up to the plate, because a number of us are going to be retiring soon. We've talked about this for years, about getting architectural and trade schools at all levels of higher education mandating a codes curriculum. And I remember the Education Committee, and then it bifurcated into a higher education committee at one point, was tackling this issue. So we think this is of extreme importance. Enhancing the online educational possibilities for maybe an associate's or a bachelor's degree in the field that we're in. And then we need to educate our elected and appointed officials. So there's a lot to this one, but we felt this was our second highest priority. The third one that we talk about all the time is ways. Oh, I have to advance the slide. There we go. Thank you, Becky. The third is ways to get more code official participation in the code change process. This is something we've struggled with. The economy hasn't been a friend to us, but we need to continue to work it. Technology is certainly a possible solution, and I'm going to mention more about CDP access, and then we've got a presentation later on that. That's a possible solution and a partial solution. We talked about enhanced credit for participation in the code development process, whether that's for your recertification, whether it's a higher level certification, whatever that may be. We'll have to work that issue. And then funding is important. We've got the Code of Honor scholarships, which has brought a lot of folks. I know a lot of chapters issue full or partial scholarships to the code hearings. So again, we're not trying to solve the problem, but this was our third highest priority. And then the fourth one we called the letter. And for those who remember the box tops, my baby sent me a letter, so this is the letter. But the box tops aren't around any longer, but we still are. And this would be a letter that would go to the member's chief administrative officer for their jurisdiction, whatever that title might be. It could be city manager, county manager, town manager, county manager, board of supervisor, whatever, acknowledging not only the service of that member on a committee, but also recognizing accomplishments by obtaining ICC certifications. And a lot of these, as you think about it and look at them, they sort of roll into each other. That one obviously plays into raising the profile. So at some point, some may morph into another, but after 2 hours yesterday, these were our highest 4 priorities. And like I say, they're in priority order that we want to work on this year. And we're going to forward these to the ICC board, hopefully for their concurrence. And then we would start to appoint the subcommittees and go to work on those. At this point, I'll stop and see if there's any questions either from those in the audience, those out in TV land. But what my goal is, after we've had that discussion, I'd like to entertain a motion and a second so that we formalize these, and then we'll send those to the ICC board. So are there any questions, comments? Good idea, bad idea, makes sense? Okay, well, it sounds, I don't see anybody rushing to the mic. I don't see an assembly action since we're not in code changes. So we're going to take that as consensus that you think that these are in the right order and these are the right issues. So we'll move on. Could I get a motion supporting these 4 and directing us to send these to the ICC board for approval? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Now here comes the hard part. We need volunteers. The way to do it, like I say, I'm going to ask our governing council to volunteer, but I want you all to help us too. Vaughn's email address is at the bottom of the slide when it comes back up. It's vwicker@iccsafe.org. Please email Vaughn. Let him know that you're interested. Let him know which one of these 4 you'd like to work on, or if you want to work on more than one. And we'll get going on it. Okay, that's good. Went through that quicker than I thought we would. The next, the next item on our agenda is our proposed charter changes. And now I'll remember to advance the slide. In our first year, we had a couple different challenges that we needed to deal with. With the successful election of Mr. Boyer to the ICC board, we had to fill his slot on our governing council. And then unfortunately, we've had a couple council members, due to the economy, who've lost their positions with their jurisdiction. And that's why you don't see all 15 of us sitting up here today. So in this first year, we've had to deal with how do you fill a vacancy when someone's elected to the board, for example. And then we've had to also talk about the issue of someone who loses their job and hasn't landed with another jurisdiction. So when we looked at our charter, neither one of those eventualities was addressed. So what you see in front of you, and we had a motion to approve these yesterday from our governing council, but as soon as I go through this, I'm going to ask you for the same, is our way to solve these problems. The first one in 6.9 talks about vacant positions, and it says that we have a choice here. We can either fill the position, our governing committee could fill it following the procedures that I'm going to talk about in a minute in the subsection, or we can leave that position vacant till our annual meeting, which in this case would be Portland, where the council would elect someone for that slot. 691 talks about how we would do it, and it actually is exactly what we did when Bob got elected to the board. This sort of memorializes the process we used, which actually worked pretty well. We issued a call for applicants for 30 days. Then our governing committee reviewed all those applications. We balloted by email. They sent their choices to me. We notified all the applicants before we announced it. And then if you remember, if you were on our call on March 21st, we announced to the whole council that Tom Allen from Florida had taken Bob's position. Now in Portland, we'll have to actually elect Tom at our council to that slot. So 6.9.1 outlines how we did it, and it seemed to work very well. We've also suggested the other councils may want to look at something similar, although that's up to them how they want to do it, and they have different constraints than we may have. So that addressed that aspect of it. The other thing, as I mentioned, unfortunately, we had a couple of members who lost their positions with their jurisdiction. So we needed a process to address that, and that's what you see in 6.10. Right now, the only thing we're guided by is how the board of directors does it, which is 60 days. You basically have 60 days once if you're terminated at one locality to land somewhere else. But we've talked long and hard about this, and I think in this economy, and if you think about your own jurisdiction, to advertise to hire somebody, it's just not going to happen in 60 days if you've got the same constraints from HR that I know I have in Hampton. So we felt what was more realistic was 180 days. So what you see here is that any member who ceases to meet the requirements for membership in our council, those requirements are in 5.1.1, may be different for other councils, for a period exceeding 180 days, then they automatically forfeit their position as a member of the committee. So we've got two people right now that are tolling the clock. Like I say, all we had to go by was 60 days, but if you all approve this and if the ICC board then approves our charter change, then that number would turn into 180 days. So our governing council yesterday voted on both of these. We had two separate motions. One was 6.9 and 6.9.1 together, since they're very much related. I'll put those back up. And then we had a second motion on 6.10. Both of them passed unanimously. So I'll stop again here and see if there's any questions about either one of those from those in attendance here or those who are sitting at home drinking their coffee and watching cartoons. Any questions about this? Okay, again, if I could have, and we'll do these in two separate motions, if I could have a motion on 6.9 and 6.9.1. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. And likewise on 6.10, if I could get a motion. A motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll now forward both of these to the ICC board and ask that they approve our charter change to incorporate both of those. Next item on our agenda, We're doing well time-wise. Hope the code changes go like this for the next 10 days. I wanted to give you a quick overview, just sort of give you a taste of the CDP Access initiative. And at 10:15 in this room, and I hope everybody out there stays, plus other folks that aren't here yet, from 10:15 to 11:15, Wally Bailey, who's the chairman of our CDP Access Steering Committee, is going to do a presentation. I think Josh is going to maybe talk a little bit about it when I introduce him at the midpoint. But I don't intend to go into a lot of the details. But like I say, I just wanted to give you a little taste and preview of what's upcoming. And please come for Wally's presentation. A couple things. CDP Access, if you haven't heard about it, and members of the steering committee have a ribbon on their badge saying, "Ask me about CDP Access." At one point, this was probably called remote voting. Then maybe it became remote participation. But it made more sense to call it CDP, which is co-development participation. The P could be process access, because it's access to the whole initiative. It's not just about voting. So that's our branding, CDP Access. You'll see it in a lot of places. And really, since the consolidation in 2003, for those of us who've been involved in this since then, members have been talking about this generally. They may have been talking about a different angle of it, but they've been talking about it since 2003 when we consolidated. CADRAC, which was the Co-Development Review Ad Hoc Committee that Cindy Davis chaired, and I think prior to Cindy, poor John Latorre was tasked with that for year after year by several ICC presidents. I think it was the Ad Hoc Committee on Code Hearings or something. But CADRAC in 2011 recommended this goal to the ICC board, I think in April of 11, and then the ICC board approved that in May of 2011. President Dupler appointed a steering committee, and we've been meeting. I'm on the steering committee. It's all 5 of the council chairs. I think it's 5 or 6 ICC board members. Our board president and vice president, Bill and Ron, are both on there. Some industry folks that you'll see around here today, and some other code officials. We started meeting in January of this year, and we've met monthly, either in person-to-person or via conference call, to work this issue. The goal is to have this process in place for the co-development cycle for the 2018 I-codes. And we're taking a very deliberate approach to doing this, because I think we only have one chance to get it right, and we want to make sure we do that. So we're not rushing to judgment. We're not coming out with something that's going to be used in Portland. It's very deliberate, and we're going about this to make sure that we get it right. The underpinning, like everything else that we do, is the governmental consensus process. For those who are around when we had the discussions with IAPMO about a joint plumbing code, we heard loud and clear that it was very important to our membership that we retain the governmental consensus process, and we intend to do so. Sort of the rollout, in 2012, we're going to be designing the system. 2013, it's going to be beta tested. 2014, there'll be a pilot with one ICC code. I haven't decided which one yet. And then in 2015, it would be go live with the Group A codes, the same ones we're going to be talking about for the rest of the week and part of next week here in Dallas. And probably the most important thing is for you to have input into this process. We've got a discussion forum that's going. You may have seen some posts. I put one up. John Terry put one up. I think Ron Peaster put one up. We're trying to get people to respond to some aspects of that. There's a dedicated web address for CDP Access. And of course, we've got the presentation here today. So that's just sort of an overview. Wally's going to get into a lot more detail at 10:15. Again, I encourage you to stay. But if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty with staff, Dominic has volunteered to be that point person. He's given me his home phone number. No, wait a minute, that's his office phone number. Call him any day, time, day or night. His extension is 5267, and Dominic would be more than happy to get into details with you. He's the staff person working with our steering committee. So again, I'll stop. I would prefer, if you have questions, that you probably bring them up in the 10:15 to 11:15 segment. But if there's any general questions from anyone here or anyone on the phone, we can entertain those now. Okay, so yes. We are ahead of schedule, which is good. Josh is not going to be here till about 9 o'clock. So Becky Baker, our vice chair, is on the website group, and Becky's going to come forward and tell you a little bit about the website that's under construction, or she'll sit there and tell you. Becky?
Good morning. The ICC has put together an 18-member website user group. I don't know that we're a committee, but we are certainly a group. And it is chaired by Ron Hoover, board member. We have good cross-pollination between that group and this committee. Myself and Neville both serve on that committee. How many folks use their mobile device every day? Yeah, almost 100% of us. One of the neat things that we've gotten to test this last week or so is the new Icc Mobile App. It's pretty user-friendly. It's not ready to go. We're just in the testing phase, but it's part of the future. And as part of we've had 2 conference calls, and as part of those calls, we've gotten to see some of the statistics using our website. And the mobile application, or the using mobile devices to get to our website has really on the uptick. I know I'm a pretty avid mobile user. The group was talking about meeting sometime this summer to begin to address some of the website navigation issues and concerns that have been expressed. It's pretty exciting to see some of what is coming forward for us. We've seen a demo of the new ICC store. That may change yet as the underlying CMS, content management service may be doing some changes, but the actual look and feel of it is just like any other retail website that you may use, Amazon.com, etc. So with this, I'd offer it to Neville, see if he has any updates, anything that he'd like to share on this. No? You okay? Okay. It's exciting stuff that's coming our direction. Hang on to your hat. I think it's going to be a pretty great future with our website.
Thanks, Becky. And when I talked about the prioritization items, some folks had talked about the website and how to navigate it. So obviously this is being handled by another group, and it came up from our membership as well. The other thing I wanted to add when I was talking about those items, even though we selected that 4 that you saw on the screen, there's still about 17 or 18 that are still there. That doesn't mean they go away. You know, it's much like your capital improvement plan in your jurisdiction. Your city or county funds projects for a year, but that doesn't mean the ones that don't get funded go away. They'll be there. We'll take them up in future years. So if some folks had suggested items that you didn't see there, that doesn't mean we've ignored those. And in some cases, we merged them. They sort of dovetailed in with other items. Are there any comments from anybody in the audience about our council in general? Anything you want to discuss that we haven't talked about? Anything you want to see us do that maybe we haven't planned to do this year? Becky wants to know if you've been to the website for Building Safety Month, which is coming up. Steve, Jones, and Ron have. Got some exciting events planned for Building Safety Month, I hope. Steve, why don't you tell us what you're doing in Millburn? Thanks, Steve. Anyone else in the audience want to share it? And if you do, please come to the mics. That's going to help. That's okay. That's going to help as staff records this. Anyone else want to share with us what you're doing for Building Safety Month? Lynn, you want to talk about what we're doing in Virginia? Hate to put you on the spot.
Lynn Underwood, Building Official, City of Norfolk. Something that we are doing in the area around Hampton Roads, which Steve was talking about, is really kind of interesting. I really am happy to report it. The local builders group, the Tidewater Builder Association, is sponsoring or creating a home that is a Made in America home. And that Made in America home is going to be built with 100% products that were built or manufactured or made in the United States. The building officials in the region have unanimously endorsed this, and we've even got each of our mayors to sign off on a proclamation that endorses this. So an advantage, I think, to something like this is a partnership where builders and building officials are basically agreeing on things, and I think more we do that, the better. But this puts us in front of all of the public. We've got state and national legislators that are coming to the celebration. It's going to be this month, in fact. So that's one of the neatest things I think that we've done in quite some time. So thank you, Steve.
Thanks. And I think that this was started with a builder from Montana, if I'm not mistaken, and he may even be there as well, but he's the one who started this whole idea of build 100% American. So we're keying on that. Anyone else in the audience want to talk about it? Doug?
In West Palm Beach, we put the big poster boards up. We got the kits. We went out to Oriental Trading Company and ordered the little yellow hard hats. They have little plastic kids' hard hats, and we're putting little city stickers on them, and we're making a big deal. And the little hard hats match exactly the Building Safety Month hard hat, so it's really works well. And we got some pink ones for the little girls, so we think that's good, doing the coloring books. We're also grateful that through BOAF in the state of Florida, we got a governor's proclamation released already, and we had one from Senator Mike Bennett from the state of Florida too. I guess my question would be, how are we doing with President Obama? Are we going to get something from him?
Well, I'm going to ask Dominic to come up in a minute. He said he's going to walk through the website, but he may have that answer. I haven't talked to the president lately. He's not taking my calls. But Dominic, you want to? Okay. I don't know if everyone heard Dominic. Hopefully we'll have that this week. Dom, do you want to walk through the website, or are we waiting for Rick to?
I need just a little bit.
All right. While Rick's he's going to get the website up on the screen for you, and then Dominic's going to come up and walk through the Building Safety Month website. You said you would. Oh, Rick's going to do it. Oh.
We hope.
While that's coming up, anyone else want to talk about what they're doing for Building Safety Month? The other thing I would remind you, this is your council, so please give us input. I know it's early. This is the ICC version of worship services on Sunday morning. Sharon.
Good morning. Sharon Bonesteel with Salt River Project in Phoenix, Arizona. We, for Building Safety, the first week one, Salt River Project is donating programmable thermostats to all of our ASBO members to use as giveaways during Building Safety Week, and other sort of baskets of various energy-saving items. And it's been fun. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Anyone else? But please give us input, whether it's about this item or any others, because we can't function for you and do the things that we all hope we can do with our Building Official Membership Council if we don't get input from you. The 15 of us can sit around and come up with some ideas, but we need your input. We need your buy-in. We're real excited about the 4 items that I presented to you. And we think once the board approves it, I hope they do, that we're going to be able to do some real good things for our membership. But we need your support, and we need your input. How are we doing, Rick?
Not good.
Rick says we're not doing good, so maybe we won't go to the through the website.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Jeff Bechtold. One of the things that I've done in my home jurisdiction over the course of the last couple of years for Building Safety Week, then month, was I employed the sign department at our road department to make up road signs for Building Safety Month or week when it was applicable. We put those signs both in our office, just on stands, as well as out in the parking lot. We haven't put it actually out on the road, but it's a resource that you may be able to use in your home jurisdiction. The signs look really, really good that way. You can format it. Most of the sign departments have a CAD or computer aid type of sign program and pretty much make it look just like our logo that we have.
Thanks. Anyone else on the dais want to share anything? Gilbert?
Yeah, Steve, I think Building Safety Month goes along with our highest priority in raising the profile. The more we get out there and talk to the community about what we do and educate them on how we go out there and make sure their homes are safe, just like I said, it goes a long way in raising the profile. And we need to get out there and talk to our legislators, different council members. A lot of them just really don't know what we do. And so this is one of my passions, is raising the profile. And I think we need to do a better job as code officials of promoting ourselves, and this is one way of doing it. Thank you.
Thanks. And we had some discussion yesterday, and I don't know if you're seeing this in your cities, counties, or states or not, but it seems like building departments, whatever you might call them, more and more are starting to fall under a planning department or some other agency within that city or county, and our role is getting diminished to an extent. So that's why we felt that raising the profile was so important. As Gilbert said and others, Building Safety Month is a really good way to get out there, get our message, and we're going to do the best we can to represent you to help you do that. Anyone else? Neville?
I also wanted to mention, partly for the absences of the two members of this council, myself included, with 3 members on this governing council that were laid off in the last couple of weeks here. That's 20% of this council. If that's indicative of what's going on across the country, it's kind of a sad precedent or a trend that's happening across the country. It's something we need to be aware of, and as Steve mentioned, it's something that we need to take responsibility on raising the profile of what we do in this profession and to speak out. We have to take, each one of us individually have to take on that responsibility in our own jurisdictions to speak of ourselves as one of public safety and have people recognize us as public safety as with police and fire as well.
Thanks. Anyone else about Building Safety Month? All right, the man behind the screen, otherwise known as Rick Carroll, is going to put up our website and tell you a little bit about that. Rick?
Thank you. If you go to the iccsafe.org, the main website, over under quick links, you will see, hey, don't kill me. You'll see that we have the International Code Council Foundation. If we click on that link, it will bring us to the main page. At the main page, we have several things that we can do. We'll scroll across and you can see all the various looks that it has. A lot of the new things that are occurring is we do have the news feed. We also have the Twitter feed. We're getting more and more folks following us on Twitter, which is a great thing. So this is a site where you can get up-to-date news. You can get Twitter feeds on various scenarios, our Building Together, our Safer World, our Code of Scholarship. Ms. Becky, anything you want to bring out special? And I'll drive if you want to talk.
They have a link for each particular week and the information that's available for you to use as you promote what we do in your own office or your own community. I'm hoping here that everybody signed up to show their support for Building Safety Month. The I Support campaign on the left-hand side. There you go. If you click on the I Support campaign, and you click I Support and you put your name in there. I think that the goal this year is to get something like 5,000 people to sign, or a good number. I don't even think that we're up to 1,000 yet. And again, it takes a little to fill that out and show support. And we want everybody to think that we're important, but we're not taking that initiative ourselves. So at any rate, take a minute, share that around your office, and see if you, and let's try if we can build some mass involvement there, show our support for the profession, what we do. The website, again, offers some great tools for Building Safety Month. It does show all the proclamations that have been there, but again, as you go through and you take a look at each week, it offers speaking points, it offers an article that you can fill in the blanks, customize slightly, send to your local press. There's some pretty good tools out there. Again, take a minute, explore that website. It's got a fair amount of those tools that we're all looking for to promote what we do every day, but it's up to us to get that information out to the press, etc. So just, it's a pretty good website.
Thanks, Rick and Becky. One other thing I wanted to mention, if you're in the room and not a member of this council, or if you see some friends this week that aren't, there's a computer station set up right to the right of registration, and you can log on and join any one of the 5 councils. So I would encourage you to do so. If you've got interest, you can join more than one. So as you're talking to people here, let them know that it's never too late to join, that we're trying to make it easy. We'll hook them up. We'll give them a membership pin so they can participate. As far as future meetings are concerned, we will, of course, have our annual meeting in Portland. We're not sure which day yet, but this would be our first annual meeting. If there's any topics that you want presented, if you remember back to the meeting in Phoenix, we had Michelle from Training and Certification talking about how the exams are scored and scaled. We can bring ICC staff in to talk about various aspects that are of interest to you. If there's an outside speaker of some sort, perhaps it's in Portland that we would like a presentation from, let us know, and that can be part of our annual meeting. We're hoping sometime midsummer, maybe in August, that we would have another conference call meeting like we had March 21st. I hope you all thought that was successful. It sort of was mirrored like we did the fireside chat several years ago, where we made presentations, people could call in, they were queued. We do know that the one little hurdle to that was once you're in a queue, you can't get out. So you're sort of trapped, and then when you finally get recognized, maybe somebody covered your issue, or it was 10 minutes ago and it was no longer relevant. So I don't know if there's a technological way to get out of the queue once you're in. We'll investigate that. But I think by and large, that was a successful way to hold our meeting back in March, and we're going to do something similar, like I say, in about midsummer to bring you up to date on where we are. Any questions, comments? We've still got some time. I have a joke repertoire, but I'm not sure I'm prepared to go through that. Oh, Josh is here, so we could actually roll a little early. Doug?
Thanks, Steve. I just had one other thing on Building Safety Month. One of the things that we did, and I wasn't trying to put Dominic on the spot with the presidential proclamation, is that we print out all the proclamations from the governor, from the senator, from our local commission, and from the president, and we mount them on the wall in the lobby. So people have to walk by that stuff coming in, and they stay up all year round. And then the next year, as the proclamation gets replaced, we put it up there. So it's another tool to reinforce the importance of what Building Safety Month is about and how many people should support it.
Thanks, Doug. Before I introduce Josh, any closing comments from anyone on the dais? Again, I thank them for all their hard work. We've been about this for, I guess, almost a year. I know you haven't seen a lot of products yet, but we've had to get it up and running. We've had to make some charter changes, as you saw, and we're real excited about the way forward for the membership council. At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce Josh Batkin. He's the Senior Vice President of Marketing Communications. I think he's fairly new with ICC. And Josh is going to be talking to you about some things, and then you're going to see us exit stage left or right, whichever way you're looking. And then Ayla's council is going to come up here and take over their portion of the meeting. So thank you again for your input. We look forward to some great things. Josh?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Josh Batkin. I don't know, do I still have the distinction as the newest ICC employee? I'm not sure. I've been with the organization for about 4 months, and it's a pleasure to be here this morning just to briefly say hello. I can't be Steve? Can I be Steve? I don't want to be Steve? All right. But you know, the ICC it's a professional association of code officials, and it represents you and your needs, and we're here to serve your interests and take good care of you. I think the membership councils are a really exciting way to do that, to both reach out to you and to hear your feedback and input. And so I'm looking forward to exploring with you ways that we can do that even better. The CDP access, I know Steve mentioned that. That's, I think, a really good example of that, of the role that the membership councils can play to both provide information to the membership as a whole, as well as to bring that feedback and dialogue and input back into to us to make sure that we're doing our jobs as well as we can. So I wanted to say that. I think it's a great initiative. I'm looking forward to working with you on it. Briefly about me, I've been with ITC since the beginning of January. I joined after many years working in public health and safety organizations, and I'm really excited to be kind of working with you. I've been trying to get out and meet folks since I started. I've been to the ICC district offices as well as a chapter meeting, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that work. If I haven't met you already, please say hi. Please introduce yourselves. I'd love to talk to you, connect, hear what your views are and what you think that we need to be doing from the communications and marketing perspective at ICC. I'm in the Washington office, the headquarters office for ICC. You can reach me. My extension is 6250, and I'm Jay Batkin on the email. So that was it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just wanted to introduce myself, say hello, obviously answer any questions that you have. But again, marketing, communications, looking forward to working with you about the dialogue and the two-way street so we can make sure that we're meeting our members' needs. Any questions for Josh? Anyone on stage? No? Okay. All right, great. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning. I would like to welcome all of you to our Sustainability Membership Council on this Sunday early in the morning. Actually, we were a little bit lucky than the building official membership council. I hope that you're well awake. I wish that we had more people here, but unfortunately, we were able to schedule those meetings almost the very last minute. So a lot of people made their travel plans starting tomorrow coming here. In our agenda, it's a little bit hard. We didn't print anything. We want to be green, so everything is online, but sometimes it's hard to follow up if it's not printed. I'd like to call for the order, but I would like that the members present here themselves. Doug?
Doug Wise, Development Services Director, City of West Palm Beach, Vice Chair.
I'm Bill Fay. I'm the Executive Director of the Energy Efficient Codes Coalition.
I'm Ramesh Gulati. I'm an architect in private practice in Illinois.
Maureen Gutman, AIA, and the Executive Director of the Building Codes Assistance Project.
I have Tony Katana online and on the phone. Is there any other governing members online? Do we know? Probably we are just 6 present, 5 here and 1 online. And I'd like to introduce Dave Walls and Justin. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Dave Walls. I'm the Executive Director of Sustainability Programs for ICC, and I'm also the staff liaison for the Sustainability Membership Council.
Good morning. I'm Justin Wiley, the Director of External Relations for Government Relations, and I'm helping out Dave Walls and the rest of the committee.
We have the next agenda item is the approval of the February 7 meeting. That was online. I don't see any reason to read it again. Can I have a motion to approve the meetings? Say all aye. So it's approved. We can post online again the agenda, the minutes as approved. On our last meeting, we had two resolutions. Actually, we had one resolution to encourage municipalities and states to adopt international energy codes and international green codes. And we wanted to separate them, and we wanted to vote on this membership council meeting. Unfortunately, we don't have the quorum, so I need to call in for a conference call meeting to vote on those resolutions. But basically what we were saying, I want to read it, those ones. Resolution supporting nationwide adoption of 2012 IECC. Whereas the nation's policy leaders seek tools to improve economic development, to make better use of natural resources, and to reduce human impact on the environment, and whereas public support for building energy efficiency has increased substantially in recent years, and whereas the International Code Council, through a consensus-driven process, has produced a model building energy code, the 2012 International Energy Conservation Code, IECC, that has improved energy efficiency by around 30% as compared to the 2006 IECC. And therefore be it resolved that the members of the ICC Sustainability Membership Council and the attached list of co-sponsors pledge to work directly with all states, counties, and jurisdictions to 1. Prioritize sustainability in building and site development practices. 2. Adopt and implement the 2012 IECC as soon as practicable. 3. Continue to promote energy efficiency as a policy tool for a more solid future. That was our energy resolution. And the second resolution was, is it going to come? Step. There you go. Yes. Resolution supporting nationwide adoption of 2012 IGCC. Whereas the nation's policy leaders seek tools to improve economic development, to make better use of natural resources, and to reduce human impact on the environment, and whereas public support for sustainable building practices, building energy efficiency, and water efficiency has increased substantially in recent years, and whereas the International Code Council, through a consensus-driven process, has created the first-ever model green code for commercial buildings, the 2012 International Green Construction Code, IGCC. Therefore, be it resolved that the members of the ICC Sustainability Membership Council and the attached list of co-sponsors pledge to work directly with all states, counties, and jurisdictions to prioritize sustainability in building and site development practices, adopt and implement the 2012 IGCC as soon as practicable, continue to remove sustainability, energy efficiency, and water efficiency as policy tools for a more solid future. Our plan is to sign those two resolutions and forward to some other co-sponsors. and we will seek the support of Building Membership Council as the first supporter of those two resolutions. Steve, we are going to forward this to your next meeting for approval. Is there any question to those so far, to those resolutions? If not, I would like to thank Eric Lacey, one of our governing committee members who put together the wording of those resolutions. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today, and I appreciate his input. And the next agenda item is an update on the creation of an annual sustainability award. Doug, Maureen, work on this one, so I'd like to leave podium to Doug or Maureen. Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Isla. One of the things that the Sustainability Membership Council was working on over the last 6 months, 6 to 8 months, was trying to come up with some solid ways to raise the profile. And during some of the discussions, one of the ideas that came up was actually something that was proposed by Lynn Underwood on the Global. And it was an award, a national award or an international award to kind of raise the profile for somebody or someone that typified the best kind of principles for which most of us stand. And so the discussion kind of went into how do we do that in sustainability, how would we go about it, what would it look like. So if we can go ahead and run the PowerPoint. So the idea was, create a leadership and sustainability award. Kind of a marketing tool, something to market the new IGCC and the ongoing IECC, and kind of raise the profile of what the International Code Council and what we as members have been doing in the area of sustainability. Go ahead. The objective, as I said, raise the profile, and the mission, promote safety and sustainability. And to emphasize, reinforce stakeholder excitement surrounding the development of the release of the new 2012 IGCC, and it's sort of the first standard of its type. So, we're pretty excited about that. We want to promote positive public attention, both within and beyond the organization, because we got to get outside just, the members to get new members and new blood and new folks in here. We want to recognize significant achievement and dedication to the cause, and like I said, within and beyond the organization. And just one point before we go off, one of the things I looked at when we were developing this PowerPoint, and this is really for Dominic, is, you look at the bottom right, we got a trademark title, that says people helping people to build a safer world. I would respectfully suggest that we need to look at that trademark and say maybe we ought to add a trademark that says people helping people build a safer and sustainable world. So just a thought. Next slide, please. So in order to do this, looking at the framework, and we're regulator. I'm a regulator, so when I look at this stuff, I'm looking at the framework in which I operate. And the first thing I looked at was CP 1603. In order to do an award, it has to be authorized by the board. This body is an advisory body. We don't, per the charter, we don't have the ability to just go out and do an award. We would be asking the ICC board of directors to authorize us to do that and perhaps amend CP 1603. So I'm not going to read you all that, but basically what it says is that only awards go through them, and there's only 3 awards that aren't authorized by the awards committee. Or it's basically, and they're awarded directly by the CEO or the president. So, change slides. Again, and so going back to our charter, what we're supposed to do, our charter says, we function as an advisory and a collaborative body. So we don't have anything to do with awards at this point. Probably would have to look at a change to our charter if the board, the ICC board, recommends that we move forward with this. So, and again, but it is our job to identify and build improved opportunities to leverage ICC's national reach Again, consistency, understanding, acceptance of the adopted codes related to sustainability. So if we're going to get acceptance on this document, we got to do big outreach. We got to kind of raise the profile and get ourselves on the horizon. Thanks, Dave. Again, the observation, we exist to do this. Only the ICC board can authorize an award. In order for us to implement an award, if that's what we want to do, the SMC has to request approval from the board to develop criteria and amended language. Go ahead, Dave. Again, this, I don't know if anybody's interested. I have this here. If somebody wants to look at it, we can pull it up, but let's go on past it. We have our charter again. Now we have a draft. Why don't you click, you got to use the mouse and click on that draft. Let's pull this up. We have two different drafts. Maureen and I worked independently. And basically came up with two drafts, so we have two starting places. And we can look at sort of where we are. It should come up here. I don't know how you make it full screen and get all that other stuff to go away. Hide, I think. There you go. Okay. So Maureen's is pretty good looking. I took a look at it. There's a few things that I want to sit down and have an opportunity to talk with her and the rest of the governing committee to see where we're going here. But it's sort of boilerplate. Talks about the purpose, the function, and the things that we have to flesh out. Again, I'm not going to read the whole policy there, but I'd go down to eligibility. Maureen was thinking state or local, the award could only go to state or local government, elected appointed officials or employees, nonprofits, or individual citizens. So I think that's good. Any individual citizen could get the award. I agree with that. I mean, when I was looking at this item, I was sort of thinking, and Maureen, you can step in if I'm speaking out of turn, that we might want to think about, we would go somebody outside just the members, to kind of raise the profile and attract attention, somebody that would be either a public figure or, some other person from industry that had a dedicated history of sustainability and building bridges that were, sort of cooperative or synergistic to what we do. So it was sort of the thought that we didn't just want to limit it to a member award. Certainly it could be a member award. It could also go outside the organization. That was my thought. Judging criteria, description, again, interested, submit it, and submissions shall be made, so that's it. So that's Maureen's, and I think it was a good thing. We're going to have to flesh this out as a council. I think yeah, thanks. So pull that up, please. I think that we have to get guidance, and one of the things that I discovered working through this is I really need to get guidance from Dominic. I did reach out to Dominic, and he's agreed to meet with me this week. We're going to talk a little bit sometime during the hearings and figure out, exactly what the format of this is and how do we go about getting it. I think first we have to request it from the board. This one I went out and looked when I was developing my model. I don't like to write stuff on my own because one of the things a smart guy told me once when I was pretty green in the code business, he said, don't go out and write your own codes. Go out and steal them from somebody else. So, and he said preferably one that was, has been tested in court so that you're not, you're going to withstand legal challenges when somebody comes to sue you over the code provisions that you've implemented, in your city or your jurisdiction. So, I've taken that to the heart through my whole career, and basically what I did is I went out and looked. There were about 5 or 6 different national models that I looked at when I did this, and there was an AIA thing. There was a lot of different AIA awards out there at sort of the national level for a lot of different things that have a lot of good pieces in them, and there were some other ones. And I tried to take the best of what I thought out of all of them and put them together. And so this one is a little, I tend to be a little more comprehensive, and I want to go through it and what's it going to look like, what's it going to, what's it going to taste like. So, the idea is, closely related affiliate. One of the things that the charter, the Sustainability Membership Council did is we looked at membership on our council is not solely limited per our charter of memberships. We want to encourage people to be members, and I think that the way we embrace them to come and become members of ICC is to reach out to industry and those partners that are stakeholders that use the codes that we develop. So, you know, the award was thought of the same way. So, that, you know, the first paragraph says that. Again, you know, the intent is to continue to set the standard of excellence and professional achievement by acknowledging exceptional performance, dedication, creativity, and innovation. You know, we want people to submit nominations. You want to scroll down a little bit there, Dave. You know, the idea was, and we can talk about these again, I want to circulate this among the council and have everybody look at that, and certainly the members, you know, if we can put this on the website and get the member input on this. And we need to look at the things that Maureen has that might not have been in here. But, you know, we're talking about significant contributions, involvements in leadership and development of programs, relating to sustainability in the built environment, either directly or indirectly supporting the intent and the purpose. You know, significant contributions to the council that directly impact a sponsored national or regional conference, workshop, or event, theoretically instruction, you know, those kind of things, other things, guest speakers. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to have somebody who's contributing to the cause could be nominated for that. Written research, publications, presentations, doing those kind of things, expanding the body of knowledge or improving professional practice. Other outstanding service to the council, to the membership, or to the stakeholders of the IGC or the IECC. Again, it would be selected from among nominations prior to the date. The award theoretically would be given at the ABM. During the awards ceremony, they'd have to be presented an award. I put in some, you're going to give some free stuff to them, Dominic. I hope you're not upset about that, but I thought, you know, maybe a comp to the business meeting, awards meeting, you know, in case they're not already going to be there, and, you know, give them a copy of the IGCC electronically and stuff. But we can talk about that when we meet. Also, I didn't have a chance to speak with either Dave or Carla, but I put you guys as the people to call with questions. So I don't know, that's a draft. We can certainly put the right names in there as we go through this. You would scroll down, Dave. Again, to submit eligible, I wanted to talk about the eligibility for nomination. If you're going to make the nomination, you got to be a member. Okay, that's the bottom line. You want to make a nomination for a prestigious award like this, you better be a member in good standing. You have to have held continuous membership with the ICC for at least 3 years. We didn't limit the membership to voting members. We said members of ICC supporting the cause. So, you know, it aligns with sort of our belief that, you know, our council is made up of a combination of governmental and industry folks. You know, we excluded ourselves. And we excluded, you know, the board of directors and past officers, obviously, because we theoretically all of us have all gotten a lot of awards along the way, and that was sort of my intent to do that. The award could be given for one-time or cumulative efforts. They shouldn't have received the award in the past 5 years, theoretically. Again, all nominees must be notable public figures, members of the ICC, or members of a closely aligned and affiliated organization or agency. So theoretically, public figures, public officials, I mean, it could go a long ways. And then there's a selection criteria. The idea was that the membership council would be authorized to get the ability to review the applications. You know, and then the board of directors or the awards committee, as you know, or whatever, however it works out based on the advice we get from the board on how that should work, would basically serve as the selection committee. We would forward our recommendation to them with 3 names, first, second, third, and the idea is that they would come back and say, you know, we agree, we don't agree, reorder, whatever, tell us what to do. Theoretically, then, board staff would not notify folks that who are selected for that, and then determine if they can attend. I mean, we don't want to give the award to somebody that's not going to come to the ABM. I mean, the idea is this is our marketing tool to market what we do and what we're about with sustainability. So if they're not going to come, then we would go to the alternate. And then nominations would be kept in confidence by the SMC Governing Committee and the Board of Directors Committee until they're basically announced, but we would like to be able to announce the thing before the ABM. So once the person's notified, once we know they can come, and once we know who it is, if it's a big public figure, I mean, if the president's coming to get an award or something, and again, I'm not saying that we're going to give an award to the president, but we could use that as a marketing tool also to market, our association, what we're about. So, I don't know. I think we're pretty much down at the end of it. What else we got, Dave? Go to the bottom. Let's see. Yeah, so, that's it. The idea is that we can use this as a marketing tool to market the IGCC and do that. Again, this is a first draft. I've got to look at the things. Didn't have really a chance to look at the things. Maureen and I were working independently. I think that's good because then we can look at the things in both and make sure we captured both of those things and then get that back to the group. So that's pretty much I have on that. If you want to go back to the PowerPoint, I think, Dave, the final piece is that, my recommendation, I think, and Maureen, I'd step in, we recommend that the council authorize the chair to draft and send a letter to the board of directors seeking permission and guidance to move forward on this and to kind of explore a little bit, the structure of what needs to happen to make it work. And that's really all I have. Are there any questions? Comments? Maureen? Isla? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Maureen, about putting this together. Now, next agenda item is outreach kits. Justin, is that you?
That is me.
Okay.
During several conference calls, one of the things that the committee really wanted was some sort of kit that they could go out to their constituents and talk about the IGCC, talk about the IECC. And the Green Construction Code is unique in that it's a new code and it's something that not a lot of people are aware of. So I've come together and put together an initial draft of a kit, as it were, that has a couple of things, a couple of goals in mind. The first was that it could be presented individually on its own. The second one is that it could be taken and added to current presentations that the committee was going to give. So recently I sent that around to the governing committee. I received some feedback, but I really wanted to open it up to the committee to maybe supply some additional feedback to me so I can continue to hone it and get you something that is going to work well for you. One of the things that I did not include is the IECC as a part of the presentation. Maybe that's something that you guys would like me to include as well in the presentation. Maureen's nodding yes. Okay. Is there anything else that, just off the top of your head, that I can include that would be beneficial for the governing committee? No?
Justin? Yeah, I looked at, I think the PowerPoint's amazing with all the information that we can build our own PowerPoints out of that. The other thing I was going to say is that, excuse me, Carla had sent out sort of a care package to me a few months back after a request with like pins and literature and printed materials also for us to basically give out at functions, and that was very helpful.
Additionally, I want to make the committee aware of a toolkit that the Government Relations puts together and has on their website, the IGCC toolkit, which has a lot of information from third parties, including USGBC, some of our other partners, as well as things that we've put together. So please take a look at that as well when you put together your presentations. But any... Okay. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
I was just going to add that I did copy both pages from the IGCC toolkit that you were just mentioning, as well as the IECC toolkit, and so I have it on Word. We could display them, but basically there's a lot of information off that page, and the website for the IGCC is right there at the top where you can go find those easily, or at least find the IGCC. But from there you can also find the IECC as well. So there's a lot of good information on there. As you can see, well, it doesn't show the whole page. I can scroll down a little bit, but a lot of Acrobat PDF files that you can download and utilize. So good information for everyone here as well as anyone who's looking for information. Thank you.
One question, Justin. I'm wondering if this is the toolkit that you have made, is that available right now on the website so that membership can comment on that too? I mean, not only just the committee, but I'm quite sure we can get pretty interesting ideas.
The toolkit that I've created is really a combination of a couple of toolkits. So there's the IGCC specifically is available on the IGCC webpage to download, to take a look at. I've also added to the toolkit basically an overview of our code development process. I mean, we get a lot of questions about how the codes are developed, what process we use, and so I have included slides. But I think that's a great idea to actually take what I've put together and put on the IGCC or put on the Sustainability Membership Council website for comment.
Yeah, I mean, it is a working document, so till we have something, you know, it allows us to actually keep on moving and somehow come to some kind of a conclusion. So some feedback from the membership would be, you know, would be welcome.
Good idea.
Any other comments? Any comments from public? Seeing them? Yeah, okay.
I was just curious. I know last year Government Relations started a IGCC users group. I think it was a group of communities who have already adopted the IGCC as a way of supporting those communities and states that were thinking about it. Have you, Dave, have you guys connected with that, and have you had any discussion about how your council and this IGCC users group could help support communities who are looking for advice from those who have already started to implement it?
I don't think there's been any direct discussion regarding that, Dominic, but they did meet in Phoenix, and I don't think they've had another meeting since, but we need to follow up, and certainly I believe they're going to try to meet again in Portland as a face-to-face meeting as much as possible. I know Craig Stevenson actually is the one who organized that. I'll check with him and see if there's anything planned before that, but it would be a very good idea to bring these together, to have those discussions. And I think it's important as a whole to see what kind of challenges and issues that those have already adopted the code that is going on. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, when I was in Phoenix, I did attend the hearing, and I did introduce myself and sort of try to act as a sort of impromptu ambassador for this council to meet with those folks. And I talked a little bit and handed out a few cards, and you know, it's talked about what we were trying to do and the things that we were working on, and that we were kind of closely aligned. But I didn't receive any feedback or any contact, and I haven't heard back from anybody on that. So I think we're happy to work with them, and maybe we just need to get a combined meeting going on or something.
I'd just like to add that we are in the baby steps of this sustainability issue. Even the number of people attending this meeting and even the number of our governing committee members present here shows that we are really a baby. But I promise that we're going to be grown up and we will be really numerous people in the near future. And I would like to extend my gratitude for those who are present here and hope to see you in Portland, Oregon in October, I believe, at the annual business meeting. And is there anything to add before we close our meeting? Bill? Ramesh? Maureen? Anybody on the phone wants to say anything? No? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.